questioned. We have therefore written to the following bodies: 1, the Catholic Bishops' Conference; 2, the National Council of Churches of Kenya; 3, the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims; 4, the Kenya Secondary Schools Heads Association; 5, the Primary Schools Heads and Teachers Association; 6, the Kenya National Union of Teachers; 7, the Law Society of Kenya; 8, the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers; 9, National Parents Association; 10, the Kenya Primary Schools Association; 11, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission; 12, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations; 13, the Federation of Kenya Employers. We know the role of churches and other religious organizations in the education sector since the beginning of the last century. We know how much efforts teachers put into ensuring they mold young people into successful products that they can be proud of. The education sector does not belong to the government of the day. Integrity of the education sector is for all Kenyans. We believe that as a country and for the sake of our children, we can do better than this greed beyond measure. Virtually every home had a candidate or knew a candidate among those who said KCP and KCSE. KCP alone had close to 1.4 million candidates. The steps outlined below are critical. 1, the circumstances under which the printing of the exams was transferred from the UK to Mombasa Road must be investigated. 2, Kenyans must be told how the integrity of the exams was secured during the transfer from the UK to Mombasa Road and later to another printer in Asia. 3, it is the right of Kenyans to know the cost of termination of the contract with the UK firm. 4, Kenyans must be informed of how the Mombasa Road firm was identified and awarded the tender and if procurement laws were followed. 5, Kenyans must also be informed of how the firm to relay KCP results was identified, whether it is the same one that will relay the KCSE results and whether procurement laws were adhered to. Going by the fate of Auditor General Margaret Nakango, we believe political interference will not allow ESCC and DCI to deal with this matter, but to put this issue to the agencies as a matter of public record. And the warning must go out there that in another era, all will be held accountable, including these criminals. It is our position that the stakeholders together, headed by the Catholic Church or any other group that stakeholders can agree on, and get to the bottom of the mess building up in our exam management. There must be no room for favoritism in conduct and marking of exams, where some schools and students are allowed to cheat and get away with it, as happened in last year's KCSE and this year's KCPE. Sanity, integrity, and dignity must return to exams. The buck stops with His Excellency, Mr. William Ruto. It is our firm belief that mega corruption in billions cannot happen without the complicity of the top. Whether it is 17 billion shilling in oils or billions involved in the prisoners cooking oil, we know the dynamics of how government operates. The CS, the PS are small fries. The buck stops with Mr. Ruto. End of statement. Please.
Question?
Vile ambavyo umesema the exam's integrity was compromised. So do we recall the results, and what does now this put KCSE into?
This is a mess caused by the government, and the ones who need to clean that mess. The challenge is to them, not to us. We pointed out this mess, but we also said that a task force ought to be set up to investigate and come up with what we can call amicable way out of this mess.
My name is Chemutai Goin from Citizen TV. And my question is basically looking at the issue you've spoken about on the integrity of the exam. And education is supposed to be an equalizer. You have rightfully mentioned that a number of students and institutions have moved to court wanting justice because they believe the results that were issued to them were not their own. In the event of the ministry, as it is ongoing with the process of placement, does not allow these students, in the interest of public justice and especially for the children, do we see a point where you may seek to be enjoined in trying to get justice for them? And on the second matter, on the control of budget and the tribulations she's facing, there's a lot of questions that have been raised regarding the commitment of the Kenya Kwanza administration in combating corruption, and whether the tribulations on the control of budget are basically meant to slow her down owing to her sharp criticism of the government and possibly its operations.
Well, first, this other first one here, you're talking about investigations into this matter. Of course, as I mentioned, really some people who are in court challenging the outcome. Yet the ministry is also in the process of admitting the others into schools. This itself actually shows the kind of chaos that we're going through. Of course, the courts will pronounce themselves on this matter, so we don't want to prejudge what the court will say over this matter. But it's a very sorry state of affairs that things stand right now. And as what we want to see done is to ensure that we get to the bottom of this matter, how it was conceived, who were involved, and who are the beneficiaries of this, so that this thing does not recur again in the future. The second question you were saying is about... I made a statement yesterday, and I saw that this matter was in Parliament also this morning. Our belief is that this lady is actually being witch-hunted because of the stand that she's taken. Because recently, when she appeared before the bilateral team at Bomas and talks about inflation of salaries, that her own salary had been inflated in the budget more than 3 times, basically exposing the corruption that exists in the government. I think that when people are uncomfortable with her, they want to get rid of her from that office, because we're talking about something that happened 80 years ago. The ECC is the one which is prosecuting. She was interviewed and appointed, and before somebody is appointed to a position like that one here, you must get actually a certificate of clean conduct from ECC. It's one of those bodies. Why now? Did they not have those records at that time? Why is it that now that they all of a sudden have come up with this issue? So, this is basically just a witch hunt. They want to smear her name so that they get rid of her. but she's a holder of a constitutional office. And my view is that in spite of the charges which they have leveled against her, she still seems to be innocent until she is proved guilty through the due process. So she should continue to exercise her duty as controller of budget.